Hello, my name is Patrick Gunning, and you are now currently tuned into What Am I Saying? A show which I talk about random things. Here on episode 7, I'm going to be talking about writing a book, and I wonder what I'm going to be writing if I was writing a book, but I have to wait until then about that. But here's an episode that I'm going to play for you for the time being, and I'm going to start start that recording right now. I might like to write a book or some kind and publish down to the line for anyone who would enjoy reading whatever I have written, but at the time I simply have no plans to do all, but of course it will change at some point down the line for me. But a professional will take little to no time to write a book, but an amateur or someone who never wrote a book before, like me, it would take a while to get that book written. But an amateur or someone who never wrote a book before, they might need a little bit of help from searching the words from a dictionary to use, right down to hiring a writer who would help you write that book. Choosing what subject that you want to write in that book is up to you and how comfortable you going to write about. There are a lot of thinking that goes into writing a book that you want to write about. Write a book of any kind will take a bit of time in getting everything written up in the story in the way that you want in that book that has been written. Writing a book will take a lot of thinking and skill developments in how the story itself would play out when every single page gets turned over and over every single time. A number of words and characters are that are put into writing the book very depending on the format of both size of page, margin, font, and as well as font size too. Writing a book is like writing a script for a play, a radio drama, a podcast, and etc. Writing a book can help a person with their writing skills as well improve their reading skills as well, to be best of my knowledge. Writing a book is getting you to learn the meaning of each and every single word that comes straight to you and learn to spell them. Writing a book is like writing an essay on something that you are thinking about at the current time and wanting to write and to cover a whole entire documentation with words. Writing a book is like being there as the first person acting like characters when you're writing about, or being the third person that you are seeing what the character is doing while you are around. A person can write a book based on their own personal experience or write about their favorite subject. Writing a book may have images from time to time, but writing still has to be done in order to describe in what those images in question are. Telling a story based on actual events that is real and it's actually happening is non-fiction. But if the whole entire thing was made up, then it's fiction. Writing a book ranges from telling a story that the writer has written up based on current events that happen, right down through to writing an autobiography about someone. A person of any kind has the powers of knowledging how writing a book that has been written straight from that person's heart. After writing a book that you want to write, then submit it to every book publisher business until one of them accepts what you had written. Then they would publish that book with you making a bit of profit from it alone, with a little bit of profits going to the publisher. If no book publisher for some reason would not want to publish your book, then you can go into self-publishing that book, and it would be a little more costly, but there is no restrictions on what you want to publish. Somehow the writer can try to promote what they had written in their books in some way to get others to purchase that works, so they can recommend to others around them into buying that book as well too. At some point, the book that the person has written at some time will end up being adopted into a podcast, a radio drama, a television show, or television movie, or even a movie at the big screen, or even a stage play. At some point, the person who written that book would get a little lucky and make a bit of profits when coming to that book that they got published in the first place. The author has the right and the controls into what they want written in their stories that are in their books. After you finish writing your book, then you have the option of writing another book as part of a sequel to the book that you have previously written, depending on the outcome, or writing something that is totally, completely different. A sequel could be in the making if that book has a bit of a fan base, and if the author is willing to write another book on the continuing story. Writing a book is one thing, but hiring an illustrator in doing the artwork for the book's cover is another thing. After writing that book, you send a sample work to every publisher that you know and wait for a reply from one of them if they're willing to publish your works, or multiple publishers to respond, and then choose which publisher you want who would publish your book. Writing a book is one thing, but making that book eventually more special comes from the author who wrote directly straight from their heart. Writing a book can be a lot of fun to do, depending on the individual who is writing that book. I have to say that this show has come to the end for the time being, and in the next episode of What Am I Saying, I'm going to be talking about bullying is wrong, and stay around for that. And for the time being, I see you guys later. The following production has been written, edited, presented, and produced by Patrick Gunning, and copyrighted in 2023 by Patrick Gunning, or PFGUN0 for short.